Good evening, everyone. This is Dan Daniska, Assistant City Planner. I'm just going to read a few meeting rules before I turn it over to Frank to start the meeting. This is the January 26, 2021 Commission on the City Plan meeting. It's a web-based meeting, so we're operating under the following procedures. The session is being audio and video recorded. Please be advised to ensure sound quality, would ask people to remain on mute unless they're speaking or being asked a question. Applicants and members of the public should have their video off, and we don't have any public hearings tonight, so I'll skip all that and turn it over to you, Frank, to start.
All right, thank you, Dan. Could we do a roll call and just note who's here?
Michael Land, present.
Singh,
Okay,
present.
All right. Frank Manfredi, present. Do we have anybody else here tonight?
Nope, that's it. You have the three of you.
That's it for the
quorum.
commission.
Okay, so there's only 3 members who are present tonight, but that does make a quorum, so we can proceed.
And Frank,
We
can
can,
you keep Singh, because Singh is an alternate, right?
is Singh an alternate? I thought he was a regular now.
Singh, are you a regular or alternate member? I don't have it off the top of my head, I'm sorry. Just make sure that all the members.
I was alternate, but then we had one vacancy, so I don't know if in the paperwork I am permanent member or not. But I will suggest treat me as an alternate who is sitting in the meeting if you want.
Okay, well, just to be safe, we'll say Singh is seated as an alternate if he's not a regular member, but in any event, he's a voting member for tonight.
Thank you.
So for the approval of the minutes, we'll need a motion and a second. I don't think I can vote on that since I was not here for the last meeting.
So do we want to then table that because we need to, so we can have it 3 members? Do we need 3 as a quorum for that, for passing minutes? Do we want to just table that next month?
Yes,
Sure, why don't we table that?
we can table it until Thursday.
Okay, if you want that on the
Yeah.
agenda for Thursday.
Yeah, we can put that on for Thursday. Good idea, Mike.
All right.
So I see no communications, is that correct?
We have a few that came in. I'll just read those
Okay.
quick. I have a copy of the Connecticut Federation of Planning and Zoning Agencies quarterly newsletter. I can make that available to you if you'd like it. And I have a pamphlet for Saturday, March 6th from 9 to 4:30 is the Connecticut Land Use Law for Municipal Land Use Agencies, Boards, and Commissions. It's a virtual webinar, so we can send out that information to you as well. That's it.
Okay. All right, thank you, Dan. Under new business, I see none. Correct?
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, old business, the matter of 612 West Stain Street, tree cutting in the conservation easement update. So who wants to update? Is that Deanna or Dan, or both?
I have on the screen now, Frank, you can't see it, but we have a plan of the easement with some marker delineation placements. We've had some back and forth with the land surveyor for the subdivision. So they're going to come and pick up markers this week to go out and install them in the locations along the boundary. And that'll help move forward with the forester's report that will be provided, I would assume, within the next week or so, once they're installed.
Yeah.
We've been
So I
working
mentioned-
with Teresa. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I had mentioned to you, Dan, earlier when we were talking that I noticed in the minutes there was some discussion last time that the subdivision might be an illegal subdivision. Is there any substance to that?
We have attorney, where did they go?
Chapel?
Attorney Green is also here. I have not been
Attorney-
able to
Yeah.
For some reason, I can't get on the video. It needed a password for me to, a password for me to get in. I couldn't get in. So I'm just calling.
Yeah, I couldn't either.
Okay.
I couldn't either. Don't feel bad.
Okay, I'm in good company.
So,
So
is there any?
can,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I forwarded to Deanna a correspondence I had with Attorney Chappell, which showed when my client took title. My client took title to the units up at Coveview Tower, and there was a separate parcel of land, which is this parcel from 612. I think if Attorney Chappell is on this call, I think he can confirm that it's no longer an issue. That was my discussion with him about a month ago when I sent him this. He had indicated to me that that was no longer an issue. If he's there, he could confirm that.
Dan, is Attorney Chappell on the line or in the meeting?
He is. He's
I
here.
am.
Okay.
Hi,
Okay. And
for the record, Jonathan Chappell for the Coveview Manor folks. And so at the last meeting, I raised a potential issue about not just the ownership of the lot, but whether or not the lot that is now an approved subdivision had been prior to that declared as part of the community. I verified, as I said I would, that it was not. And therefore it is a separate lot, and the subdivision is valid. And Attorney Green and I have spoken about the parameters of a deal, a settlement of sorts. And although the markers have not been placed, Coveview will answer for the trees that were cut by our contractor that fell within that conservation easement. And they'll clean it up. It's believed to be a number around 3 to 8, whatever number it is, it is. And I'll call it the recent cutting by Coveview, and we'll pull out, clean up, and replace it as the commission sees fit.
okay.
Chairman, I mean,
Deanna or Dan, is that what we were looking for here?
yeah, so what's gonna happen is, I think Dan got a quote from Teresa for the forester, and Dan can confirm that dollar amount. And that I just want to confirm with Attorney Chappell that they are going to be paying the Public Works Department for our cost of having our forester go out there and do this work, as well as the work to, remove the trees that are felled in that area and whatever new plantings or anything else that needs to be done there. Is that agreeable? Is that what you understand, Attorney Chappell?
That is correct.
All right,
Yes.
and you did get that price quote. Dan, do you know what that was?
Yes, I believe it was between $750 and $1,000 is what he was thinking.
Yes,
Okay, thank
that's
you.
acceptable.
So I just want to make sure that you're understanding. So what we're going to do is I'm going to work with Public Works, and they will get reimbursed by you for that, since they're the tree. Teresa Hamlin is the tree warden for the city, so it's through the Public Works Department, not our department.
That's fine.
Okay,
And
so
I would just add that I met the forester out there, and he's aware that there was recent cutting that occurred years and years ago. So he's aware of the trees in question and the trees that were done quite some time ago.
Great.
So is there any action that we as a commission need to take on this, Deanna or Dan?
at this point, no, I don't think so. What, because there's a couple steps. Again, I'm just going to clarify those, that the surveyor is going to come pick up the markers from us. We've agreed on where those placements should be in conformance with the easement. There is areas that there's a lot of them pretty close together within a couple feet of each other because of the way the boundaries marked along the stone wall. So we may have him just separate those out a little bit and use them on a stretch that a longer stretch that we probably need some markers on. So I think there's a total of 25 markers. Those need to be installed. Once those installed, the tree forester will go out there, make their evaluation of the recommendations for what should be done at that time. And then we will work with the, I think at this point, then we would work with Attorney Chappell and Attorney Green to make sure that that work gets done. And then do you want us just to report back to you on that? Probably I would say at the March meeting, because of who knows what's happening between now and then with February with the snow and stuff, but report back in March where we're at with this.
I
Yeah,
think
that
that'd
would
be
make
fine.
sense.
Okay, is everybody in agreement with that? The Attorneys Chappell and Green?
Yes.
Yes, this is Attorney Green. I have a couple questions though. One, with regard to the trees that are down already, is there any prohibition from going in there and cleaning them up at this time?
I would say no, well, it depends on what you're doing. Are you going to be taking equipment in there? Or are you just going in there and chainsawing out and pulling out those pieces? We don't want any more disturbance in the conservation area, but work by hand for trees that have already felled is probably okay. But we definitely still want to look at, again, we're gonna look at the stumps that are there. So we don't want you at this point to do anything with the stumps, but if you need to go in there and remove out anything that's felled trees, I'm okay with that, but it might be preferable for you to wait until our forester gets out there. Dan, what's your thoughts on that?
I would just second what you said. I think I don't anticipate it taking too long for him to get out there, but as long as the stumps aren't touched.
Yeah, so
Yes, I'm sorry.
what's your intention?
sorry.
What was your intention to do out there?
Yeah, well, our concern is that we have a potential buyer for the property, and his concern is that it's going to be cleaned up, and we want to give him some assurance that it will be. I guess based on my conversation with Attorney Chappell and from what is being said today, I guess we can give him an assurance that it will be cleaned up pursuant to a plan that your commission is going to approve. I guess that would be sufficient. I
think everyone's in agreement. We don't want to leave a bunch of felled trees there. So I think that that will definitely be having to be removed out of there. We're not going to leave that in the conservation easement. However, I guess what I would ask is that Attorney Chappell is that, we'd like that to be done expediently, but I think that everybody's agreement. I think we need to wait till those conservation markers are up so you know where that boundary is too. So that in all fairness to Attorney Chappell's clients too, that if there's trees that are fallen that are not within that conservation easement, that, and it was done a long time ago, they shouldn't be responsible for that either.
Concur. Okay.
So
we're gonna have the,
Go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say, it sounds like we're gonna have the forester go out, make his assessment, and then Matt's client is going to do some cleanup, and then we're gonna get a report back in March.
It would be, I would imagine Attorney Chappell and Attorney Green would work together to, allow for allow to go over there for Attorney Chappell's clients to go, have that taken care of to remove those trees that are, that are felled, that they're still there. But yeah, I think that once we get that report, he can also clarify to us, what looks like they were cut a long time ago, they're laying on the ground, and those necessarily aren't the responsibility of cleanup of the Cove View. So why don't we wait till we get that identification from our forester?
Okay, so do we need to formally continue this until the March meeting, or
I
we'll
think
just put it on the agenda for March?
Yeah, we'll just put it on as a follow-up as old business in March, in the March meeting, if that works out for everyone.
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate.
Okay.
Does anybody have any objection to that?
No,
No.
Okay. All right, so I guess that's how we'll handle it. We'll put it on, continue it till March meeting and get another update at that point.
And hopefully it'll be a great update that, you know, the conservation easements and markers, done, that there is no, you know, that those fallen trees have been taken out of there and it's cleaned up. And, you know, we'll find out if there's some plantings that need to happen, and that wouldn't happen in March, but we'd have some identification if he thinks that we need 3, you know, whatever, let's just say that there was 3 trees and he thinks that 3 tree needs to be planted. That wouldn't happen until after April 15th, which is the beginning of the growing season. So, but at least in March, we have that concurrence of what's going on.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Do we, anybody have anything else concerning this issue?
No. Thank you.
All right, Attorney Chappell, Attorney Green, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, that being dealt with, the next matter are extension requests. And I think as far as the extension request on subdivision number 432, 150, 154, 158, and 162 Scotland Road, this is going to be continued to a special meeting, hopefully this Thursday, which would be January 28th, since we don't have a sufficient number of members to vote on that tonight.
Yep. That's perfect. We'll table that till then. Yep. And I'll get I'll just concur with you tomorrow morning, Frank, and then also make sure that we have another member so that we have a quorum, because I have to have the agenda in no less than 24 hours. So I need to have the agenda filed before noon tomorrow.
All right.
Okay.
And subdivision 421 Sawmill Estates, we're a matter of an application for an extension to 12/21/2024 for a subdivision approved on 12/21/2010 in order to complete roadwork and other outstanding items. Application of Norwich Town Development LLC. Do we have a report on that matter, Deanna?
Yep. So we first have the letter, and for the Commission on the City Plan, I respectfully request an extension of the subdivision 421 approved 12/21/2010 to be extended to 12/21/2024 in order to complete road work and other related work items to complete the subdivision, signed by Norristown Development LLC. And that's Thomas Abele, signed at 12/31/2020. We also have Pat, is it Pat Computaro, that's here on the call on this meeting tonight, representing Norristown Development LLC. You know, he doesn't need to speak unless you need him to. I just wanted to, what you can't see on the screen, Frank, is subdivisions normally don't extend past 10 years, and that's per statute. However, there was a portion in the statute that is notwithstanding provisions of that specifically section, that commissions may grant one or more extensions of time to complete all or part of the work in connection with the subdivision if it was during certain time period. So it was, I'll read it exactly as the language is: notwithstanding the provisions of this section, any subdivision approval made under this section prior to July 1st, 2011, which this was, that has not expired prior to May 9th, 2011, which it was not, shall expire not less than 9 years after the date of such approval. And the commission may grant one or more extensions of time to complete all or parts of the work in connection with such subdivision, provided that no subdivision approval, including all extensions, shall be valid for more than 14 years from the date of the subdivision was approved. So that caveat in the statutes, which was put in during the time of the in the economy, when we were having difficult times with the market, the housing market, and developments not being completed, the legislature changed the statute to give more time for developers during that time period. So this falls into that time period. So they are asking to have the additional time, which will bring them up to 2024 to complete the work on this subdivision. This subdivision is the one that, if you remember, probably when I started about 4.5 years ago, was before the commission asking about changing the sidewalks that were in the subdivision, and the commission decided that they wanted about half of those sidewalks to still go in. So those would still be required to be in, so that, that it meets the requirements of the original subdivision and then that modification request. And Pat, do you want to comment on anything since you're here?
Yeah, I mean, we're planning on starting it, as soon as spring breaks. I think it needs the sidewalks, of course, the asphalt, and so a little few electrical things. So it'll be pretty quick in and out. It's just that this expires before.
Does anybody have any questions?
I do. I mean, the subdivision was approved in 2010, 10 years have gone by. I don't think there's been any work done on that subdivision in the past 10 years. Why would we expect that anything's going to be done in the next 4 years or 2 years?
Pat, do you want to answer on that?
Yeah, the last work was done in 2016. It's just a matter of, I'm doing work for the owners and they had to re-get their finances to finish the subdivision, and now they have it lined up. So it can be done.
Can I comment?
Okay.
Tom Abel's here, right, too? if you want.
Yeah, Tom Abley, Norristown Development. I'm here with Pat. The road is in. As a matter of fact, quite a bit of work has been done, and even some of the bond has been released to prove that a lot of that work has been done, including all the side drains, the storm drains. The storm drains are done. The retention pond is finished. The first course of asphalt's down. There's been quite a bit of work done. All the clearing, there's been quite a bit of work done on the contrary.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Does somebody want to make a motion on this application then?
I'll move to grant the extension.
I'll second saying.
Can I
Okay, so we
clarify,
have a motion.
Chairman, can I just
What's that?
clarify that the motion to approve the extension is going to be to also to complete the road work and the other outstanding items from the previously agreed upon approvals, and that including that modifications to the sidewalks. I just want to make sure that they're, they understand that this extension includes that.
Yeah, that's my motion.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's the motion to extend with those conditions to 12/21/24. Been made and seconded. Any other discussion from the members? There being none, we'll vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Okay, so the application is granted, and we can move on to the next matter. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have no bond reduction or release requests on the agenda,
That's correct.
and we have other business. Discuss amending subdivision regulations to increase the fee required for open space.
I would like to table
Correlate
that,
with-
Chairman, till the next.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that since that was Kathy Wazika's issue and she's not here tonight, so we should probably table that till a time when she's here.
I'd like to table it to the February meeting agenda, if that's okay, and then we'll see what happens at that point.
Yeah, that's fine. Any objections to tabling it to February?
No.
Okay. And then we have a POCD meeting reminder for April 14th, 2021, which would be a virtual meeting.
Yes.
And do we have any other reports to bring to the commission tonight, Deanna or Dan?
Not particularly. I think that Dan read you the communications. I think that the training that they offer, the Bar Association every year is really valuable for land use commissioners to keep up on. It's also for ZBA and then the wetlands, so we'll be sharing it with them. So if you haven't done it in a while and you want to do it, it is a long day being a Zoom meeting day instead of being in person. But if you're interested in that, we can register you for that. As far as any other items, I can't think of any particular applications coming before you, any that I know of on the top of my head, but I believe there'll be a text amendment application going to the council soon, and that will be coming to you for your referral.
Okay.
Diana, I just want to add something that I did attended a regional planning commission CCOG meeting and represented Norwich as I was volunteered from CCP. So the meeting was pretty good, and there were a lot of updates which were shared. So I'm just glad there are a lot of projects going on in our neighboring towns as well.
Great, thank you, Singh. I know that there wasn't a quorum, so it wasn't a kind of unofficial meeting, but we appreciate
Yeah.
you representing the commission. And
Thank
it's
you.
great.
Okay,
Deanna,
yeah, thanks for doing that, Singh.
Thank you.
Deanna, have we ever heard any word about when they're going to begin the demolition of the properties where the new Dunkin' Donuts is going in Norristown?
You mean-
Which
okay,
one,
so
Mike?
not Dunkin' Donuts, you're talking about the Burger King
I'm
site?
talking about Burger King, right?
No, so that got put on hold. The COVID situation really stopped everything on that. And the contractor they were using, the general contractor was their, was like an engineer build kind of firm that they were working with. And that company, I believe, is filed bankruptcy. So I don't think that the owners of the Burger King will be using the firm that they were going to be using to do that construction for them, for the Burger King. So, so right now it's kind of on hold. I spoke with someone on behalf of Burger King who said, believe it or not, everyone thinks, well, you know, oh, drive-through is where they make all their money, and which I heard a lot about that too, but that's really true. They have to have their indoor seating to make the dollars work.
Yeah.
And with, you know, with COVID and what's happening right now, it just doesn't make sense to spend that dollars to open and not be able to be at full capacity. So I think that it's just a little bit on the back burner. And when spring construction season starts, we'll definitely be all over them again and kind of encouraging as much as we can for that to move forward. I think that's as much as people, you know, you hear the complaints about it being next to the historic cemetery and those kind of things. It's a very unique looking Burger King, and it's a quality design, I think, for being a fast food restaurant. And we should encourage that to, you know, move forward.
Thanks for the question, Mike.
Yeah.
It's,
Yep, and yeah, that, and I think you all know that the Reed and Hughes downtown, that is not going to be developed after all. That the Women's Institute decided not to move forward with that project for financing. They couldn't get that; the numbers weren't working. So it may come back into the city's hands. It looks like it will. The city did put out about $150,000 towards that $500,000 of stabilization. So although we did spend some money, it was very well spent, because now at least the roof is not collapsing in. It's protected from the elements. So although it doesn't look super great, it's definitely secured, and it's in much better condition than it was when it was passed over to the Women's Institute. So if it comes back into our hands, we have a building that at least is secure.
Okay, that's too
yeah,
bad.
that sounds good. Any other matters to come before the commission tonight? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. Thank you.
Okay. And with that being said, we can adjourn the meeting tonight. Thank you all for attending.
Okay, so we'll
Thanks,
hear about
Melinda.
Thursday. Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we'll hear
Bye,
about
everyone.
we'll hear
Thanks,
about
Melinda.
Thursday in the morning.
Yes,
All right,
so Frank,
thank you.